If you didn't know, I've been going through a bit of a spiritual journey the last few years. And it started all the way back in, well, all the way back since childhood. I was raised in a Christian household, in a Christian church, and I went to Catholic Mass and I went to Protestant church. And I really bought into all that Christian stuff for a really long time. Um, and it was a really big part of my life. It was something I believed strongly in, and I prayed, and I always felt like I had this connection to something greater than myself. I felt like I was connected to divine in some way. Um, but throughout that whole experience, I never once felt connected to Jesus Christ. I never really got that whole motto that like the only way to God is through me. I never really liked that. I don't know why. It just didn't resonate with me, even though I really, you know, drank the Kool Aid on most of the other stuff and dogma that they were teaching at that time. I didn't really like the idea that Jesus was the only way to the divine, to God. Um, and it wasn't until around my junior year of high school that I really started to think about things independently and had a lot of doubts coming up in my mind about Christianity and is this possible? Am I really alone? And I kind of went through this whole process of becoming an atheist where I figured out like this, I'm the only thing going on here. There's no spiritual. We're just in the physical. And when we die, and that's it. And I'm completely alone. And I felt very separated and lost and sad during that time. But at least I had the truth, right? That's what I was thinking. At least I had the truth. And then my senior year of high school, a good priest friend of mine named Father Ferroni uh, gave me this book called The Power of Now. And it's called A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment. And I thought that was very interesting coming from a Catholic priest, a Jesuit priest. He gave me a book about awareness, presence, and enlightenment, which is pretty cool. I got along with this guy, and so I trusted him, and I read the book, and it was pretty transformative. I started practicing presence and becoming more aware in the present moment, and I started to notice things that I hadn't noticed before. I started to see things more vividly. I started to notice little details about reality and existence that were a little bit curious. And it really drew me in to spirituality from a different angle um, than Christianity, because at the time I only knew the Christian perspective. But after reading the book, The Power of Now, by Eckhart Tolle, I started to reintroduce myself to spirituality from kind of a more self-discovery kind of way. Like I was just exploring reality um, instead of following what I was supposed to do or following the rules or doing it because it was, the cultural norm. I was doing it now. I was doing this work, spiritual discovery work, for the sake of understanding truth. What's really happening here? Um, why am I alive? Why is anything here? Just really asking some of those questions. And that was really all sparked by the book, The Power of Now. And fast forward, I'm learning about enlightenment. I'm learning about Buddhism. I go to college. My freshman year of college, I was getting really into this kind of like idea of awakening, which is a term in New Age spirituality that's kind of about having profound realizations about your spiritual nature and about existence itself. And I got really obsessed with the idea of awakening and how could I go through the process? How could I become enlightened? How could I access greater consciousness? How could I expand my consciousness? I got very obsessed with those kind of new age spiritual terms and ideas. And so I got to the point where I was really desperate to to have an awakening. I was desperate to find something that would work, a technique that would work, or to find a guru or a mentor that knew what the heck that process was, how to actually do it. So I ended up finding a lady on Instagram. who I paid $500 a month. $500. I paid her $500, guys, to teach me what she knew about spiritual awakening and how to expand my consciousness. Um, and she did. She did. And I actually got a lot out of it. I know a lot of you are probably thinking there's people just trying to scam you out of $500. And sure, I didn't think about that. I was just looking for the person that could teach me the things I needed to know. And thankfully, she knew what she was doing for the most part. We didn't keep our relationship going very long, but in the month that I did work with her, she led me through this meditation where I got to detach from my body in a way. Through this meditation, basically, where I'm looking at my hand and I'm bringing my awareness to my hand so that at some point my hand just becomes an object in space. And then I realize it's just an object. It's not me. It's not anything. It's just here. It's just here. And I feel the separateness with my hand. And the separateness moves down to my arm. And I go, oh, well, my arm is just an object here in space. Who says it's me? Who says it's not? It's just an arm. And this whole feeling of objectness just floods through my body. And suddenly I'm observing my human body from a different perspective. It's like I'm not me anymore. In that moment, I detached from my identity as a human, and I was simply the awareness watching the human do his human thing. And that was my first experience of an actual spiritual awakening where I had a mind blower. It was a spiritual mind blower. And I was just like, holy fuck, this shit is real. Holy crap. Awakening, enlightenment, the spiritual shit, it's fucking real. And the Christians do not have it correct, or at least not all the way. But it really got me super excited. I had this fire just completely ignited in me. And it was super exciting because I finally got that awakening experience that I was so desperately searching for. I got a confirmation there with that awakening, and it lasted a few hours, but eventually it faded away and I became the human again, identified with my Ryan name and body here. But so that was my first experience with awakening. And since then, I've just been learning more and deepening. And it's a really cool process and experience. It's very unique. I think most people don't have these kinds of experiences, but to me, they're the most profound thing that can ever be experienced. And so, I'm addicted to the experience of waking up, of becoming more conscious of the spiritual nature of myself and the universe. So that has been my journey from Christianity to atheism, all the way to my new age spiritual self, where I'm just kind of discovering and existing from as real a position as possible, and that reality is a spiritual one for myself. So that is my story. That's my spiritual journey so far, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm going to keep sharing little insights and things that I've been learning with you guys. I know a lot of you guys aren't super fond of this stuff. If you're following my channel, you're probably here for my college content or other things, but I want to share the things that I'm passionate about and I'm excited about. And spirituality is absolutely one of those things. So I love you. Thanks for listening, and peace.